Concerts are truly a one-of-a-kind experience. I mean, where else do you get the opportunity to be packed in a sweaty room with a bunch of screaming strangers? Besides Arby's. From that standpoint, the concept of concerts feels inherently bizarre. Normally, you'd have to pay me to go through something like that. Yet I've never once regretted going to any concert. To me, they have always led to unforgettable memories that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Sometimes the anticipation for an upcoming concert is one of the only things that keeps me going. And that feeling of laying down to sleep after a show, tired as hell, with your eardrums blasted outside of their wazoo, there's a certain satisfaction to it that you can't find anywhere else. It's that thrill, that buzzing feeling, that makes me declare, concerts are something that everyone should try, at least once. Because if you haven't, can you really say that you've lived? Speaking of questionable living status, Harold appears to be gone. Ah, come on, you know Harold. This thing? He's got an unmistakable musk, which seems to have formed a trail that way. Only problem is that's the unknown. I've never ventured into the unknown. Huh. That's weird. You know, I never took Harold as a concert type of guy, but I mean, oh god, here we go. Listen, as cool as concerts are, and it pains me to admit this, but the first emotion I tend to experience regarding them is anxiety. When I see one of my favorite artists announce a tour, more than anything, I should be excited, right? But in reality, I see that and I usually go, because I know that in order to get a decent spot, I'm gonna have to go through the gauntlet of Ticketmaster pre-sales. Even with entering the pre-sales and logging on the second tickets open up, it still feels like you're fighting for your life to get anything decent. Then you see the price. And you reluctantly pull out your wallet and pay up because you know this is the only chance you have to feel anything in life these days. $50 convenience fee. What do you mean, Ticketmaster? Listen, I don't usually say stuff like this, but I think in this scenario, it's fair to say that all the higher-ups at Ticketmaster deserve to burn in hell. I understand that any event is going to have limited supply and thus competition, but I still feel like it should never be this bad. Buy before it sells out. Don't miss it. Pay these 19 extra fees for no reason. The stress one must go through takes a toll on a man. I still do believe that with concerts, the pros outweigh the cons, but this is probably the biggest con there is. And I'd be lying if I said this stressful rat race isn't one of the reasons why I don't go to concerts as often as I'd like to. But if you're really at the end of your rope, there is one way to get around this stressful process. I call it checking in Kip style. After dealing with that headache, this is where the fun actually begins. Ask anyone who's been to a concert and they'll tell you that one of the best aspects of it is the people. It's kind of a no-brainer, but going to a specific event means that you'll be surrounded by people who share that specific interest. Do you know how easy it is to meet people when you have that simple connection? So many conversation starters. Is this your first band concert? How long have you been listening to band? What's your favorite band song? What's your favorite band album? What other music do you like? Oh, you like artists? Dude, I love artists too. Have you seen a four-legged humanoid creature named Harold around here? No? Even for someone like me, who is usually terrified of talking to anyone, ever, I find it easier in a circumstance like this. And in my experience, most people are so chill and very happy to interact. And even when you aren't directly interacting with the people, there's still fun to be had. Concerts happen to be one of the best places to people watch. It's always interesting to see what an artist's actual real-life audience looks like. I had a chance to go see Death Cab for Cutie once, and it felt like I had traveled back in time to the mid-2000s. I honestly felt a bit out of place because all around me was just millennials, flannels, and skinny jeans galore. Even though I did feel a bit out of my element, it was kinda heartwarming to see that these people are still out here. And for one night, the shared desire to see Ben Gibbard brought them all together once again. It was kinda beautiful. Then there's just the interesting characters you come across when attending a concert. I once saw a guy who was either drawing or writing or something in a full-ass notebook during the concert. In general admission, no seats. He was just standing up, surrounded by people and everything, but he didn't give a damn. And honestly, more than anything, it was impressive and kinda badass. That's just one of those special things that you only see at a concert. Speaking of special things, here's something that's special in all the wrong ways. The merch line. Yeah, I've never really found it worthwhile to put yourself through one of these. For one, the line is long, and although the designs can be pretty sick, unfortunately the clothes never seem to fit right. I'm always forced to size way up, and even then they still fit my body like a wrapper on a cheese stick. Plus, if you get anything non-clothing related, have fun carrying that around for the rest of the night. Trust me, you haven't felt pain until you've had to lug around a rolled up poster through a crowd. It's just way too much of a hassle when realistically, most, if not all the merch could just be bought online. I realize I'm kind of giving mixed signals here, but I genuinely do love concerts a lot. It's about way more than just the good and bad individual parts. It's about the overall experience, and each experience is entirely unique. On the list of places that I never expected to find myself, a K-pop concert was pretty high on there. Yet, believe it or not, that's where I found myself once. And you know what? It was lit. Unsurprisingly, the only seat I was able to grab was way far in the back of the stadium, and even then, I'm not joking when I say it might have been the most fun I've ever had at a single concert. It's no secret that the K-pop community gets probably the worst rap ever on the internet, so going in, I was expecting the worst from the people around me. But I was pleasantly surprised to find that everyone there was super friendly. There was somebody just giving out fan cards for free, and that's how I ended up with a picture of this beautiful man. I like to keep it in my wallet because it's funny. There's nothing better than being pleasantly surprised by a new experience, and for me, this was a monumental one. Then, on the complete other end of the spectrum is the small, local indie concerts. One day, just to feel something, I decided to go check out a small local concert alone, knowing very little about the performing artist. When I showed up to the small venue, I suddenly felt something was very wrong. There was like maybe 5 other people in this empty room when I got there, and they all just looked straight at me, like I had walked into some sort of ritual sacrifice. It was too late to turn back at this moment, so I had to swallow my social anxiety and just stick it out. Yeah, it was really awkward and incredibly surreal to find myself in a situation like that. But over time, more people started showing up until eventually there was a pretty decent crowd. Not big, but reasonable. And in the end, I was glad I went because it was like no other concert experience I'd had. The coolest part about those super small shows is that when they're done, the performers would just walk off stage and into the crowd and start talking to people. You just don't get that kind of thing at any other concert. It makes for an incredibly intimate moment where there's essentially no separation between you and the artist. It's surreal and inspiring in a way. Concerts can be so many things. Moving, hype, intimate, or grand. It's really hard to explain it in any way that makes sense or matters. I'm trying my best here, but okay, look, sounds like the music's getting a little bit louder, so I mean, maybe just feel it. I'm just trying to feel it. Wait a minute. Harold? There you are, buddy. What got into you? What are you doing here?
Este es mi lugar feliz.
Okay, well, let's maybe work on making home your happy place instead, alright? Seriously, you can't keep doing this. Jerry?
Kip, I don't have much time, so listen closely. It's not real. None of this is. I'm gonna help you, but you have to try to remember.
Harold, something's wrong. We need to leave right now. Sorry. Yep, here's the worst part of the concert experience, the aftermath, the post-concert depression. Yeah, I feel you, Harold. I've been there before. Someone once told me that the secret to overcoming this deep sadness is to not be sad that it's over, but to be grateful that you had the experience at all. Also, you could just go to another concert. That usually works.